3 years at Princeton, now in his senior year. How can he possibly be better? He looks better in the first 2 games.
He's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he owns every scoring record at Princeton already, but throw the numbers out. It's more about what he does on the field with 2 things. First, his vision. He had 11 assists against Colgate on Tuesday night. He will get teammates involved when you play him as a Dodger, and the whole entire offense feasts. And it's his footwork. I've been watching the game of lacrosse for 35 years. The only player I've seen is the Syracuse great Mikey Powell, who's had better feet than Michael Sowers.
There's Michael Sowers on the field here at Klockner, getting set to take on this Virginia team. And you talk about Virginia, Matt, and you talk a lot about the offensive stars. Krause, Ward, Laviano, Moore. And yet, we talk about a goaltender with them now because Alex Rhodes off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, since midway through last year, he's become a different player. NCAA national champion, MVP of that tournament last year, and he has just continued to play at a different level. This season, he's saving over 64%. He makes the hard saves look easy. He's playing great angles and positioning. And for the Cavaliers, who last year needed 20 saves in the cage against Princeton, are going to need Alex Rhodes to play at that level again.
Matt, you and I called their opener, Virginia's against Loyola, and he made a ton of saves in the first half of that game to keep them in it. And then in the second half, when Virginia got a little sloppy with picking up penalties, it was Alex Rhodes who kept them in the lead. Princeton and Virginia, both these teams played an overtime game last year. Virginia outlasting Princeton. And we're underway here this afternoon. Beautiful day in Charlottesville at Klockner Stadium. Off the face-off, we're going to get a push, and it's going to go to Princeton. Jake Stevens, who's just a madman on the wings on the face-offs, puts the ball in play for the Tigers.
Those 50-50 scrums on the face-off wing, incredibly important today because both these teams' offenses have the favorable matchup against the defensive opponents.
McCarthy, he spins to his right. Over to Chris Brown on that attack unit. It's Sowers, Brown, and Robertson. These 3 players have played quite a bit of lacrosse together as a unit here over the last couple of years. Alex Slusher, the freshman midfielder from Oregon. Get a good look at number 5. Sowers now from X. Comes goal line extended. Head up. Brown gets a shot, misses the cage.
I like Chris Brown. He's a junior, 6 in black. He can get shots off with pressure on his bottom hand. You remember Maryland's Matt Rambo. You can play good defense on him. You can whack his bottom hand. He will still get shots off.
Kyle Kaloji is going to be defending. Sowers, keep an eye on that. Slusher working back on his right hand. Alex Rhodes got a piece of that shot. Princeton wins the battle to the sideline.
And we talked about Rhodes in the open. Just look at his positioning on that play, knowing that Princeton was attacking high at the 5-and-5 level. He was sitting near post and never at any point driven off that post and was in a great spot to make that stop.
Sowers. Oh, knocked away by Kaloji. Now Rhodes picks it up and he gets hammered.
That's a great check by Kaloji, 16 in white. He was the 3rd inside defender for Virginia last year. Now he's the cover guy.
Connors quickly to Laviano. Saved by Peters. Hadn't even mentioned Eric Peters' name yet, and he gets a great save first couple of minutes of this game.
And Kark, talking about that check, how much of that was scouting from Kaloji? Sowers is someone who loves to drop his hands when he's changing direction. Kaloji knew that, had his stick right down low on that.
Kaloji is a smart guy who kind of was the inside player for Virginia, calling out the signals defensively. He's also a 3.9 student. He is prepared. He's changed his body. He's a big-time defender.
Cormier, the redshirt freshman, injured all of last year. Gotten off to a fantastic start this year for Virginia. Matt Moore now from X. Loses his footing, picks it back up. Cormier, beautiful pass, and another save by Peters. Just stepping out of bounds, back to Virginia. They'll look to move quickly.
If you're Peters in that spot, just chuck it to the other side of the field.
Moore makes a move. Now a shot. Peters again. He's so sharp early. battle for the ball. 2 players on the ground. Now we're going to get a flag here. Late flag.
I think he's going to call this on number 4, Jeff Connor. No, it's... Maybe a little bit of a makeup. I think there was a push prior to that.
Yeah, it's going to go against Syracuse. Ben Finlay guilty of the hold.
Take a look at it here. Jeff Connor has it. Looked like a push.
Man up for Virginia. Cormier tried to get it some more in a tough spot. Now Krause gives chase. Here's more. Just over the top.
Eric Peters for Princeton looking sharp in cage. To me, seems to be going low pretty quick. I think the upper portion of the cage is where UVA needs to focus on this man up.
Cormier, he'll shoot. Peters is there again. How many saves has Peters had in the first 2 minutes of this game?
Peters has been on fire.
Coach Madelon called him the best, initial natural reactor that he's seen in goaltending.
Matt Madelon was a goalie himself. He played at Roanoke, and he knows the position really, really well. A lot of goalies will scout offensive players, and they become guessers. Not Peters. Peters is all about reacting to the ball. And you see those quick bursts, too. He sits on the shot, and then, boom, he's reacting.
3 saves for Peters. That's the official number.
He has more than that.
Yeah, I was going to say officially that's what they've got on the board, but I think he has more. John Fox, what a fantastic play by Fox, but then a turnover and a goal by Princeton. Tigers are on the board first.
Here's the deal. When you have an experienced attack unit, and Matt Ward knows this too, it's so much more than goals and assists. It's relentless riding and understanding how teams are clearing the ball. Princeton puts the pressure on them. Virginia with a really poor decision. When you are a young defensive player, you never throw that ball in the middle of the field. Because right there, Princeton is score ready. Chris Brown cashes in.
Yeah, I mean, Connor McCarthy forcing Fox on the pressure, and Sowers saw it coming.
Yeah.
He kind of stopped engaging and stood there knowing Fox was going to roll it back, creating the 2-0.
That's the experience. You get the experience, obviously, on the offensive step, but there's all those little parts of the game in the field that you master when you're Michael Sowers.
And Fox, one of the team captains of this Virginia team, one of the more experienced defenders. Shot doesn't get through the goal.
Ian Laviano.
Krause, he'll score it here. No chance. No chance for Peters there.
Ian Laviano, I mean, what can you say about this kid? He is a scrapper, one of the best in the country on the loose balls and on the ride. Right here, Krause is going to get credit for the goal, but look at Laviano, the top portion of your cage, just come out of nowhere. Pick up that ground ball, eyes up, finds Krause, who's patient, 1-1.
That's 2 seasoned attackmen making big-time plays when the ball isn't in their stick. It's all about hustle. When you talk to Lars Tiffany, the first thing he says about Ian Laviano, who scored almost 50 goals last year, is the word ride. It's the press in lacrosse. He loves what number 3 in white does for the Cavaliers.
Jack Henry Vara, Petey LaSala. Expect a big battle at the face-off dot this afternoon. Quick whistle.
I think they're going to say Bowers stepped on the line, so a procedure. There hadn't been possession. Princeton ball.
Before possession, your point, Maddie. So it'll stay with Princeton.
Here's the matchup. Can they defend Michael Sowers? That is the biggest question. How much does Lars Tiffany have to change his defense throughout the course of this game?
Slusher found an open man in front, and that was McCarthy. Couldn't pull the string, though. Sowers from up top. They're going to move him all over the field. Slusher again. McCarthy gets it to Sowers. Here's Brown trying to attack the crease. Goal line extended, gets forced out. Sowers loses his foot and picks it back up. He's got Scott Bauer on him, the freshman. That's a good matchup through the pick. Slusher, he'll shoot. Doesn't get anything on it. Still doesn't get through the cage, and now it does!
Philip Robertson. Johnny on the spot. Half of Robertson's goals throughout his career come from Michael Sowers. The other half are opportunistic type of opportunities like that one. Philip Robertson's an inside player. And when you're an inside player, you always attack rebounds. It's one, it's two shots. You see Robertson is just waiting on that. He's not even really looking at where the shooter's coming from. He's looking at the rebound. As a crease guy, that is a heads-up play. Matt Madelon loves to start for the Tigers.
Madelon, former Division III All-American in Roanoke. His fourth season here at Princeton. Trying to get the Tigers to the NCAA tournament for the first time. He's even stated when we talked to him earlier in the week, that's a goal for this team. If nothing else, the type of players the player that Michael Sowers has been, to have never played in an NCAA tournament game, this team really has it as their goal to get there this year. Virginia looking for some early offense. Skip past the Laviano, goes up and makes a nice catch. Now Lars Tiffany making his substitutions. Dox Aiken looking to set the offense up. Take a big shot. Just misses. Princeton will call a timeout with the dead ball. When we come back, we'll hear from Dox Aiken. 2-1, Tigers on top early.
Probably never understand any lines. I'm pretty impatient. I play football just because I play football all my life, and I think it's pretty similar to lacrosse. And some of the things that you do, individual position, are pretty similar to what you do in what I played in high school as a senior.
Dox Aiken, senior team captain on this Virginia team. Committed to play football at Villanova. Just got that news this week.
6'2", 210. YouTube is high school football highlights. Guy can play, man. Great wide receiver, played some free safety, just mauling guys in the middle of the field. And you look at what Pat Spencer's doing at Northwestern at hoops. Why not use that fifth year?
And what you're going to see here, Princeton called a timeout to go to a zone defense. Virginia has struggled early in the season. 6-on-6 man-on-man defense or offense, they're too good.
Yeah.
I think the zone is the way to play them and approach their defensive strategies.
Aiken thought about the shot. Now Kraus, Cormier, quick passing and a goal by Laviano.
The best man-up offense the Cavaliers have shown all season right here. This is incredibly sharp lacrosse. The tic-tac-toe passing. They have Princeton rotating. Kraus steps up. Cormier, the one-timer to Laviano. He had an assist on the first goal. Gets his first of the game there. Good offense.
I think it's so important for Virginia to have early success against the zone defense, because then it starts getting in your head, Matt. You start wondering, like, okay, the first two games we struggled, we're struggling again. What do we do here? So getting that goal when Princeton goes zone is critical for Virginia.
And I also think on the flip side, it hurts Princeton because now you start extending out in the zone and you start doubting whether it's going to work or not. So psychologically, a huge goal for Virginia and tough for Princeton.
Moore comes upfield and another save by Peters.
Peters flopping all over the place on the ground. What a ground ball battle here.
And we got a push in the back against Moore. It's going to go to Princeton.
Watch Peters today. When the shooter is getting ready and cocks up, he sits on that. He is not moving until the ball is actually released. A lot of goalies guess and watch film on where shooters typically like to go. Peters is all about the release and reacting.
Tough ride by Virginia causes a turnover. We'll get a flag on the field. This one's going to go against the Wahoos. Offsides is the call back to Princeton.
Offsides 30, white 25, offsides 30.
Stop down at 25.
Bauer, the defenseman, is going to get put in the box for 30 seconds. An opportunity man up here for Virginia. One of the things we saw when we did the opener here, Matt, a lot of penalties, 7 penalties against Virginia out of character, a lot of them sloppy penalties, and it certainly helped keep Loyola in the game because Virginia wasn't able to get anything going offensively. They were constantly trying to kill penalties.
Watch 2 guys for Princeton from the outside. Connor McCarthy, 8 in black, and then Chris Brown, 6 in black. Both of those guys can sling it.
Surprised they're not looking to shut off Sowers at this point with how good a passer he is.
Sowers behind the cage. Back to full strength. Here's McCarthy. Down the alley.
Great shot.
Try to get it to Will Kuznarek. Now 17 midfielder for Princeton. Number 24. Back up top to Brown. He'll look to dodge. Loses his footing. Fox. Best short stick defensive midfielder this Virginia team causes the turnover. And here he comes now pushing it. Laviano. Back to Moore. Virginia will slow it down a bit. Laviano's shot goes wide. Stays with Virginia. Good look at some of these freshmen that we're seeing for Virginia. Peter Garneau is one of them, number 33. On that midfield line. Here's Cormier, the redshirt freshman. Checked beautifully out of his stick. Nice job by Ben Finley. Here come the Tigers. 2-2. 5:22 left to go in this first quarter.
Sauer's going to initiate the offense, it looks like, from in front of the cage.
McCarthy's going to get to the net and score! Flag down on the play. I think we're going to get a push in the back here against Virginia as McCarthy made his way to the net.
First couple games on tape, I'm impressed with Connor McCarthy. Seen his outside shooting ability, but he's one of these guys on the first midfield where you don't really know who you put the pole on. You got the one long stick. Is it on McCarthy? Do you put it on Slusher, the ex-attackman, and McCarthy just feasts right here, gets down the alley, feels the pressure. That flag will be wiped. It was a push with possession, but he's really stepped up, I think, in these first couple weeks. And to have a midfield presence, a Dodger, when you have a guy like Michael Sowers behind, that makes the offense so much better, and then you'll see some inside opportunities as a result of the midfield Dodgers.
Princeton going with Tyler Sandoval, taking the last couple of draws, and Petey LaSalle has won both of them.
You know, where Princeton's best on the faceoff is on the wings.
Yep.
And LaSalle, so far, he's won 4 of 6, and those have all been clamps directly to himself. He is such a master of exiting the faceoff circle to get the ground balls and can maintain possession.
LaSalle is a high school running back, great with pressure on him, good feet in terms of his quickness.
Moore gets upfield. Saved by Peters. Of course, you get a loose ball hold here against Princeton.
If you're UVA, if you shoot one low, I mean, Peters is owning them down low, and so change it up.
More to Krause.
Another
Peters.
one. This kid's playing insane. Do you remember on the call, Coach Matt Madelon said the best reactor he's seen? I was like, is this guy serious with that comment? Honestly, he's delivering.
Speaking of delivering, that was a rocket shot wide in the net by Bo Pedersen. Also said in his first 2 games, hadn't played his best lacrosse, Peters. Maybe he's playing it now. He certainly is playing his best quarter of lacrosse, maybe in his lifetime. Keeping Virginia at 2 and Princeton with the lead. Here's Sowers. Got a pick now. Goal line extended. Great look! Wow. How does he even see Robertson across the defense?
And Princeton's offensive sets, they're starting with really high wings, almost in a 1-4-1. The previous possession on McCarthy's goal, Sowers was right where he initiated this offensive set. And I look what they're doing. They're giving him the opportunity to dodge, keep his head up. He's such a good passer. That pick on the ball gets his hands free. The nice show on the back side. Just picture perfect lacrosse and execution.
That's absolute money. The great passers see the next layer, right? A lot of midfielders who are becoming good passers off the dodge, they make the easy pass when the slide's right in front of them. Michael Sowers sees the layers of the defense.
This time Sandoval wins the draw and he takes a shot. Rode is right there to make the easy save.
That's not what you want. Sandoval's been injured. This is his first real action, the freshman face-off guy. You have Michael Sowers and Chris Brown. Get them the ball.
And again, that's something you learn as you play on, right? You're up 4-2, goalie standing on your head.
Yes.
You know, the possession, while you're up 4-2, like that possession is really important.
It is, because now you have to deal with these dudes.
Right.
And this is the most loaded offense in the country along with Penn State, right? Guys everywhere. Don't give them those opportunities.
Aiken gets his hands free. He scores.
Potentially could be a 2-goal swing, right? You get the ball on offense, you give it to Michael Sowers. 4-2 can become 5-2. Instead, the critical mistake by the freshman face-off guy, you put in the hands of the first-team All-American, Dox Aiken, Virginia's all-time leading scorer from the midfield. Matt Ward, you nailed it. You're shooting low on this kid Peters. Now, Aiken decides to sting him high.
That's a hard shot. Getting the ball to stay high with your offhand on the run, very challenging. And Aiken right there, I don't think he shot it as hard as he could. He just knew placement was more important than power and location. And again, gets the 3rd goal for the Cavaliers to bring within 1.
Jack Henry Varr now back at the face-off X for Princeton. This time Justin Schwenk taking the draw for Virginia. Ball still loose. No possession yet. Now picked up by Princeton and then knocked away. Tigers got possession.
First time Princeton has played on grass this season. It's a big difference. Cavaliers used to this surface. Just the ground balls, the footing. If you're playing against Michael Sowers, you'd way rather play him on grass than turf.
Well, Coach Timoney said he'd much rather play him in a monsoon. He wants to slow him down as best he can, but easier said than done.
McCarthy right into the chest plate of Alex Rode. Princeton, though, was able to pick up the loose ball.
That was ripped by McCarthy.
If I'm playing Princeton, I would much rather Michael Sowers have 6 goals and no assists, because other than that, he's just going to pick you apart. And when he's a quarterback for this team, he's a much better player than when he's dodging. And he's a great dodger, don't get me wrong, but he's more dangerous as a passer.
I'm with you.
That shot didn't get through. Cavaliers now pick up the ground ball. They'll look to move. Jeff Connor to the freshman Peter Garno.
Garno, the freshman, turned on his highlights from high school because I wanted to see a heavy dose of this kid because we only have a small sample size. He is going to be a player. Really can get down the alley. North-South Dodger can rip it.
There you see it. You called it, Paul.
I remember, not that I do the same thing, but I do watch high school lacrosse YouTube videos all the time, and when Virginia got the commit for Garno, I went and watched.
Yeah.
And his highlights were outside shots. I mean, he
yeah.
has got an absolute
With both
bomb.
hands.
Both hands. The question was, would he be a good enough athlete to compete at the college level? And the coaching staff for Virginia's like, it's not even a question. This kid is an absolute bona fide star. He can do it all.
You know what I love about him? As a young midfielder, he's not swaying east and west. He's staying north-south. He catches that ball, and he goes down right through the alley. And when you watch him shoot right, if he has an opportunity on that other side, he will cannon at the same speed. I was watching his film, and I was so impressed with both hands and just one of those old-school midfielders. If you watch the release, too, there's guys who shoot harder than him, but it comes out so fast. You played with a great one in Kyle Dixon. Didn't have the hardest shot, but the release was bang.
And to you, you would know this as the north-south part makes you such a better shooter than when you're running east-west because the goalie's on his heels.
Yep.
They're not coming forward as when you're running to the sidelines.
There you go. Sandoval wins that draw against LaSalle. Now he gets it to Sowers.
He learned. He's going to be a good one, Sandoval. I mean, he was a face-off academy national champ in 2017. Greg Gorenlian has really high words for this kid in terms of his potential.
Verdaro loses it and loses his cross. Picked up by Danny Parker, and Parker got dropped. Saved nicely by Teo Dalton. Now Parker's in trouble. Road comes out to get it. Get things started for Virginia. A little sloppy play, and Virginia just having to shut the ball to get it over to the other side of the field before the clock violation. They can't do it. Now a flag comes all over the place.
Chirpin. Chirpin leads to laundry.
The officials conferring to figure out what that call was going to be. Virginia couldn't get the ball across midfield in the first 20 seconds of the shot clock. So that was initially the violation. And then we had the flag come out later. We're going to check on that.
I think it's going to be on Laviano.
It's unreleasable 1-minute penalty against Laviano on the cross check.
And you can see Matt Moore there didn't appreciate that check at the end of the period. And you can see Laviano. They always get the second person involved, just losing their composure. And they had a couple of those against Loyola. Big mistake for the Wahoos.
Man up for Princeton when we come back at the start of the second quarter. All knotted up at 4 here in Charlottesville.
You better never forget it.
Eric Peters was a stud in that first quarter for Princeton. 7 saves, really keeping the Tigers in this one on the onslaught early on as Virginia offense.
Watch the top hand speed of the Princeton netminder. I think it's been amazing, Matt.
He's been sensational. I mean, he in that first quarter kept Princeton in the game. Those are high quality shots.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Virginia was peppering them in close. Matt Moore, Cormier. I mean, like, he's playing and standing on his head right now.
At the end of that first quarter, we had a dead ball cross-checking penalty against Ian Laviano. This is unreleasable now, 1-minute penalty in the box, and more importantly is that Virginia can't face off and win possession. No face-off, it'll just go with Princeton.
And Petey LaSalle was doing exceptionally well at the face-off in that first quarter. Princeton's man advantage. They're 3 for 8 on the season. They got some shooters. You got to watch 6 in black, Chris Brown, Connor McCarthy, 8 as the outside threat. But the guy we all know who's making it happen in terms of his vision is Michael Sowers. And the question, Matt Ward, is do you allow him to get involved in the extra man, or do you shade and press against him and make the 5 guys play your 4 instead of 6-on-5?
I think you have to shut him off, or what Virginia did in the first possession, they really extended out on him.
Yep.
And so that's effectively the same thing.
I like that sometimes more because the offense thinks they have a plan, right? Oh, Michael's involved here, and then at the last second, you show that guy, and now you have to make the adjustment with only a few seconds left in the man down if you're Virginia.
5-on-4 is a much bigger advantage than 6-on-5.
Of course.
Right? And so for that point, I think it's kind of that bait and switch approach that tends to work pretty well.
Princeton man up for a minute. Non-releasable against Laviano, so a great opportunity for the Tigers. That's a pass. That's going to go beyond the end line. They lose possession. Teo Dahl looking to clear it for the Wahoos. He does. And that was a big turnover for Princeton.
Too early in the man-up possession there to force feast it from the top down. If that pass is coming from the crease, it's a little bit better. But to throw it to someone whose back is facing the goal that early on in the man-up, not too many good things will happen for you as an offensive unit.
Clock winding down on Laviano's penalty. Virginia now at full strength. Opportunity lost for Princeton here early in the going. Connor tried to find some space, could not. Here's Aiken. Missing over the top. Ben Finley harassing Aiken nicely up top. Here comes Moore. Using the pick from Laviano. He shoots it wildly over the top.
I'd like to see Michael Krause from Virginia, one of 4 players in program history with 100 goals and 100 assists, get more involved in the offense.
Are you one of those guys?
I was not. What's the pass?
Shot clock violation against Virginia because they couldn't get any of those shots on Cage earlier in that possession. Goes back to Princeton. Sowers on Kaloji with the quickness. Now back behind the cage.
He's got room here.
Tried to get it out front. Could not connect with his teammate. Now it's a turnover the other way for Virginia. Merle will look to run the daylight. And now it's a turnover against the Wahoos. Bad pass by Chris Merle.
And if you're a midi and Chris Merle in the middle of the field, clear that you can't have that happen. You can't run to the near side where the box is. You have to know that's where Princeton's subbing players onto the field, and you're not going to have a numbers advantage.
Now McCarthy for the Tigers. Force behind the cage as Coach Madelon completes his substitutions. Alex Slusher back on, number 5 for the Tigers, freshman out of Oregon.
I like what he provides this offense because he was an attackman his entire life in the state of Oregon and a highly recruited one. So now he's going to get short sticks, playing from the midfield and giving him a little bit different of a look. A lot like Cormier, different styles, but natural attackman, dodging off that high wing, creating some problems.
25 to shoot for Princeton. Sowers. Defended nicely by Connors. Now he's on his horse. Wahoo's looking to go quickly. Krause. Trying to get it back to Connors, and a nice job defensively by Princeton. Here come the Tigers. Goal! In and out for Chris Brown.
Virginia's a team that likes to push it in transition, but right there, Michael Krause, a mistake on the forced feed to a long stick Jared Connors. Right here, you can't make that pass. But Princeton head up, capitalizes, pushes it in transition, and then just a simple pass and a quick release.
You know what I like about the Princeton break? it wasn't like a traditional 4-on-3. The two lower guys kind of popped high and created some problems communication-wise with the Virginia defense. Connors, it's a tough scenario though because he's scored so many goals throughout his career. The pass wasn't there. I like the idea because he does have the green light, but it didn't work out.
Sandoval and LaSala. Advantage, I should say Virginia's advantage goes away when it's a loose ball scrum like that on the faceoff X, and Princeton gets possession and then loses it. Sowers down to his feet, and we'll get a whistle here.
That was a good call.
Princeton's going to call a timeout. Coach Madelon will talk things over. We'll get the official call when we come back. Tigers up 1. Charlottesville, Virginia trailing Princeton 5-4. Caught up on what's happening around the league.
Owen Caputo, Ron Caputo, longtime assistant at Duke's son Owen, showing some versatility. Shredded Denver for 3 goals and 3 assists.
Kyle Kaloji for Virginia, 7 ground balls, 5 caused turnovers. That's a stat sheet for a defensive player today. You know, got his hands full guarding Michael Sowers, averaging 12.5 points. Played very well so far. Different role than what he's been used to as a defensive player. He was a off-ball guy, like you mentioned earlier. Now tasked with guarding the best player on the other team. Great start to his junior year.
And he's got a 3.9 GPA.
You look at Duke, that big win against, or for Duke against Denver, getting them back in the top 10. 5 teams in the ACC now in the top 10. There's Kyle Kaloji, number 16, talking to his netminder, Alex Rode.
No, you watch this first half, too. There hasn't been a lot of gimmicks thrown at Michael Sowers. Kaloji has been defending him one-on-one. There's some early help.
Here's the matchup right here. Sowers and Kaloji.
I'm impressed with the feet of Kaloji, who's, he's 6'4", but he's keeping up move for move with Michael Sowers, which I didn't anticipate, but he's going to go for a spin right now.
Still on him.
But right there, the subtleness of his hands on Sowers' stick. It makes it hard.
Sowers makes him pay. All he needs is that much space, and he gets open. And getting up a little slowly was Michael Sowers.
Tough as nails, 22 in black. The patience of a great Dodger. He tried him once, tried him twice, and he cashes in. And the low angle shooting, that's actually decent defense by Kaloji, but when you see what Sowers does at the last second, kind of changes where his hands are. Takes his shoulder a little higher and frees up his hands and slings it.
And the part I like about Sowers' dodge there, the subtle space where he made his change of direction in X. It was as Kaloji was in the air, jumping over the back of the net, times his roll at the exact moment to gain the advantage.
Sowers now with a goal and 2 assists.
What you'll see a lot of times with these great attackmen with the quickness of a Sowers or a Mikey Powell or Jordan Wolf, they will bring the defender as close to the back of the crease as possible, so they have to make that jump at the back part of the goal.
Finley, I was going to say, is in trouble there a little bit for Princeton. Did get the ball across the midfield line at that 60-second mark.
Princeton coming up right now, in my opinion, with more of the 50-50 balls. They are outworking and out-competing Virginia right now.
Sowers too high. Princeton retains. 47 seconds to shoot for the Tigers. Up by a couple of goals here, just past the midway point of the second quarter. Now Sowers has his man. Now Kaloji comes back around to get him at X. But Sowers takes advantage, and Rode is there to make the stop.
Good defense from Kaloji again. He's got his hands on Sowers' lower stick positioning, making those shots more challenging.
Fox now clears it for the Wahoos. Scoreless here in the second quarter. Connor gets it to Cormier. Will shovel pass to no one. Tigers looking to clear, and they do.
Lars Tiffany's going to turn on the tape of this first half, Matt. And there was 3 or 4. You mentioned the Krause turnover. You had the Fox turnover in the defensive end that led to that Sowers goal. Now Cormier here. They feel almost rushed at times.
McCarthy behind.
And Virginia's not a team that's going to start sweating if they're down 2. But possession's too important to be careless. And right there, that was a prime example of that.
Here's Brown. Verdaro. Brown, nice catch. Over to Sowers. Fox comes over to challenge.
They're going to send early help here. Quentin Matsui's a freshman against Sowers, so they'll slide early. If not,
Alex Rode goes down to make the save. Now here's Matsui looking to clear.
I think if you're Virginia, you got to send some help when you're freshman Matsui's on Sowers.
I get that, but I think you almost rather Sowers shoot that lower angle shot, because if you send help, he's going to pick you apart. So it's how are you going to lose, right? In that
Pick your
situation.
points, yeah. I think Sowers probably could have even taken another step.
He should have.
He should have.
He should have, because he had his hands and he had Matsui in a tough spot.
Michael Biankowski, another one of these freshman midfielders for Virginia. Now on the field, Regan Quinn getting some minutes. Moore working on Bond, the all-Ivy defender. Spins back inside, bounce shot, Quinn is there. Good look and a goal. Laviano finishes.
This possession all starts with a nice defensive stop. Credit Alex Rode in the cage, going low, matching stick for stick, and then actually the nice outlet there to spark the offensive possession for the Cavaliers. And then Quinn, nice job keeping his eyes up the field, and just a great timed cut by Laviano. He never stops moving his feet. He was guarded basically that entire time, but he kept going. Quinn was patient. Good offense.
Great pass by Quinn, who was an attackman in high school. So when he's on the midfield, a lot like Slusher for Princeton, will operate behind the cage, and got another passer back there.
Now Schwenk at the X with Sandoval. Sandoval wins it.
Princeton's wing play, very impressive. I mean, those guys, Stevens and Anderson, are just lightning fast off the sidelines.
Yeah, we were watching tape on Stevens, 14 in black. I mean, he just flies off the wing.
Last year, he was the best player in the field in this game, and that says a lot. He was that impactful as a wing player.
McCarthy down the alley, now back behind the cage to Sowers, back up top. Slusher up top.
Princeton has Virginia where they want him now. UVA's rotating.
Big shot. McCarthy, though, keeps his footing. Here's Slusher, 15 to shoot for Princeton.
Virginia doing a nice job off ball with those second slides.
Sowers is going to have to create himself. Spins toward the goal. Up over the top. Quick shot. And a violation on the shot clock as Robertson couldn't get it on cage.
Just too lackadaisical there for Merrill. I think he's a bit tired.
He's gassed. He's gassed.
but you got to get over the midfield line.
Chris Merle, who has recovering himself from an injury last year, missed out the entire season. So Virginia fans glad to have number 7 back on the field.
He's going to watch the replay of this game, and he's going to say to Matt Ward, like, dude, do you know how tired I am? You played attack, all right? You played attack. Shut your trap.
You know how many times I had to run to the box?
Moore, that's a great shot.
Philly special delivers again. The transformation of Matt Moore, who played a ton of midfield growing up. He's a chameleon, man. You can throw him anywhere on the offensive set, and he will deliver. We see him behind, dodging. This time we see him up top, and we're going to change of levels. That is the perfect shot against Peters, because Peters has been going low all day. He starts the shot low. Where does it end up? High bouncer, top cheese.
Moore's 7th of the season, Knots in this game at 6 apiece. Virginia, it's the 4th tie we've had in this game. They've yet to lead. So let's see what LaSalle can do at that face-off dot. There's Coach Tiffany, national champion last year, broke through with this Virginia team. Jack Henry Vara back in for Princeton, but it's Petey LaSalle who wins it. He'll take a shot and score!
Good old boomerang right there.
Take it, Petey, right? You'll take it.
He's going to feel that one tomorrow, but LaSalle, 2 goals in the national championship game last year against Yale. T.D. Irwin, one of, if not the best face-off specialists we've seen. But right there, we talked about his exit. Pops it forward, good stick protection. Kind of the amen shot there, completely deflects off. I can't tell exactly who. All right,
look at the noggin.
Yeah. Here's the deal with LaSalle, though. You can look at his stats. I would take him at a 55% face-off rate over a lot of guys who went at 65. A couple reasons. His escapes are great. He rarely gets caught, where some of these guys who win, you could jump them. Also, he creates offense off the win.
Justin Schwenken to take that draw for Virginia, as Coach Tiffany giving Petey LaSalle a little bit of a break, and Schwenk won the clamp, but right to a Princeton player. So the Tigers now back with possession, trailing for the first time this afternoon.
He's tough as nails. Benches 325. I spoke to him this week. His dad, Pete, who comes to almost every game, is actually watching. They lift together. He gets that toughness from his dad, a Long Island kid. I mean, you want this kid on your team, Petey LaSalle.
I don't think Cotter wants anything to do with him on the bench press.
No, I don't want anything to do with him.
I'd like to see a liftoff with Petey LaSalle, Pete Sr., the dad, and Chris Cotter. I mean, that is a lot of beef right there.
A lot of iron being tossed around. Penalty against Princeton gets possession back to Virginia, so they've got the lead and all the momentum now. Dox Aiken just committed to play football as a graduate student at Villanova next year. Senior captain. Talking to Coach Tiffany earlier this week, he said he just hasn't been the same player that we've seen, the great player, and maybe that decision about playing football and what he wants to do there kind of weighing on him a little bit, gets that out of the way. Now he can just focus on lacrosse here his senior year in Charlottesville. Moore upfield, now spins to his right.
This is where Moore excels. He can wear you down as a dodger. He's very patient. He likes to dodge and re-dodge.
Krause. Regan Quinn's behind the cage to keep possession with Virginia.
Krause has to bend into the interior there, keep his momentum going back towards the goal.
12 to shoot for the Wahoos. Princeton will come out of there with it. Bo Pedersen to Sowers. One move and he's free and he scores!
Got firecracker feet. Matching that stride for stride, and that is a perfect time for Michael Sowers to dodge because Virginia is not comfortable or completely set in their 6-on-6. They clear the ball, and it's early offense, and you see just the first step. Once he has that first step, it's lights out, man. You can't match that. The quickness of Sowers and dodging off that high wing, man, that is a pressure spot, Matt.
He is at the top of the wings. His quickness just becomes that much more impactful than when he's behind the cage and people can slide quickly.
Because off that move, he's shot ready.
They're giving him room. You know, my takeaway right now is Princeton is beating Virginia, what Virginia tends to do best, the ground balls, the riding, the 1 or 2 goals that you shouldn't have got what you got because of the extra effort. Princeton putting on a full comprehensive first half here.
Sandoval getting the better of LaSalle. Those two are battling. They're going to continue battling all afternoon.
But I think Princeton, it would really benefit them if they dodge in the early offense because Lars Tiffany obviously has a plan. When you clear the ball, if you go quick, you're not really set defensively.
Sowers didn't get free. Couldn't bury it, though. Now Kaloji's in all kinds of trouble. They'll get a call here, though, against Princeton. It'll stay with Virginia.
You know, a lot of times when you watch a great player, you know they're going to get their shots off. When I watched you in college, I knew you were going to get your shots off. It's just a matter of canning them, right? Sowers hitting the pipe there. I mean, Sowers is a lock for 14, 15 shots a game if he wants.
He can get a shot whenever he wants. He can get a feed to someone whatever he wants. He's just that good. It's all about letting him beat you the opposite way how he wants to beat you, right? Let him score. Don't slide. He creates too much chaos if defenses start sliding towards him.
Timeout. Lars Tiffany calling a timeout with possession. 56 seconds left to go here in this first half. Coming up at the half, top plays of the season so far.
Crazy. This will be their biggest win in 10 years for a few reasons. You have a guy like Michael Sowers, who's an all-time great. You mentioned Hess and Hubbard and Massey and Tom Schreiber and Ryan Ball. He's in that class, but those guys all won big, big games, right? Went to NCAA tournaments. If Sowers can propel the Tigers to an NCAA tournament, his legacy changes, and they get a big step towards that goal if they win today.
Kraus coming upfield. Oh, Peters goes down to get. They can't figure out where it is. Now it's under him. Final 30 seconds of this first half. What can Princeton dial up?
22.
Yeah.
Give it to him. I mean, he's got to shoot 22. The ball. He's got to shoot the ball on his last possession. It's that simple. Let him go.
Working on Kaloji. Brown scores!
What a pass. You kidding me, Matt?
I mean, talk about knowing the game, right? He scored 2 goals from that exact position.
Yep.
And you can see Alex Rode in the cage, completely locked in on him as a Dodger, and then his eyes are wide open, and just a great pass up the field, creating space, big time.
Beautiful point, Matt, because he dodged off that high wing and scored, and then the next time he hit the pipe. So the whole defense, including Rose, like, all right, here it comes again. Sowers is playing chess.
Everyone else is playing checkers.
And what's impressive about his Dodger, too, typically when you're as quick as him, you don't necessarily want to pick.
Yep.
But that is just messing with Virginia's defense. He doesn't need it. He's just like, hey, I'm going to mess with you mentally and take you to school here, either scoring myself or finding my teammates wide open.
Final second here of this first half. Virginia will put it in play. The horn sounds, and that is it. Entertaining first half of lacrosse. Michael Sowers, 2 goals and 3 assists for the nation's league. It'll be Sandoval back at the face-off dot for Princeton. He came in. Jack Henry Vara took the first couple of draws, and then Sandoval came in. Big fella, freshman, held his own against Petey LaSalle. Every now and then we would see Justin Schwenk. We knew we would because in talking to Coach Tiffany earlier on in the week, he said, I'm not going to have one guy have to take 35, 40 face-offs all game long. And Petey LaSalle would just get beat up. So you'll see Schwenk a little bit, but to start the second half, It's Sandoval and LaSalle. Petey comes out with it.
That move is so special.
Scored a goal in the first half, and he forces Peters to go down and make a save here to start the second.
And what I saw there is he changed his mind, whether he was going to shoot it or attack. When you make that decision as the face-up person, bail. Maintain the possession, because he's scoring if he's running and attacking the net.
Fox with the turnover, but then he gives it right back to Princeton.
Virginia's main loss from a year ago was Ryan Conrad. He was the do-it-all midi in the middle of the field. They are missing that this season.
Danny Parker does a nice job there on defending that play.
And what he did also, he made everyone in the middle of the field accountable too, right? He was the standard. Everyone around him played better as a result.
And Virginia's going to create chaos. They're still going to ride. They have the same three attackmen who put pressure on you. But it's the pickoff that doesn't lead to a turn, it leads to a goal that they're missing.
Cavaliers trailing by 1 here, early second half. Virginia opened the season with a win against Loyola here, followed that up with a win against Lehigh on this field, trying to remain unbeaten. Aiken, saved by Peters. He'll look to outlet quickly. Really nice job by Princeton. Now Sowers. Five points in the first half for the nation's leading scorer. Get it down to Slusher out of the midfield to Verdara. Sowers now going back to X. McCarthy. He'll shoot. Saved by Rode. Fox just snatches up that ground ball.
But good defense for Virginia. The low angle shot. Sowers got to touch the ball. Sorry. Get him the ball.
Laviano. Back to Moore behind the cage.
You know, we're watching this game too. It's a 1-goal Princeton lead right now. If Alex Rode was just average, Princeton would be up a few. Alex Rode has been spectacular.
Connor has the ball dislodged. Beautiful check. Physical ride by Virginia, as you would expect when Vaughn gets it up front. Three minutes into the second half. No one scored a goal yet. Here's Slusher.
Sowers has you where he wants you now.
Rode coming out to challenge. Now back in net, Sowers. Loses his footing, but scores!
Man alive. An all-time great. The double deuce is getting loose in Charlottesville. 3 goals, 3 assists. He's keeping it coming. You cannot defend this type of quickness. And once again, Matt, look where he makes the move. So close to the back crease, where Cologgio has to jump that area. And when you have the first step on him already, you're gone, man.
If he gets the ball with you rotating him out of position, it's over. And right there, you see how quick he is. He falls down, and he creates so much separation that he's able to get up and then throw a couple stick fakes. So he's just on another level right now from a skill perspective and a quickness.
But he's so aware, too. So Kyle Cologgio's back there, right? And he's kind of doubling him with Alex Rode. Sowers knows when he attacks the left side, he's going to make him move behind the goal right tight to that crease area, and that one step actually becomes 2.
Sowers taking over, involved in the last 4 Princeton goals. That lead now back up to 2, matches their largest of the game. just out of sorts a little bit here. Krause to make something happen. Just can't solve Peters.
That's a big-time save there, too. Peters matching stick for stick. We said, hey, he's looking to be dropping low early on, but they're up to task. LaSalle did a nice job. That's your face-off guy with a left hand, but did a nice low fake to the high portion of the cage.
It just misses.
You can see LaSalle is still out there. UVA using him as a 5-on-5 kind of pick dummy type player.
Krause, he scores.
Lost his hips a little bit there too, but you make the point. Michael Krause, for the better part of 3 years, was going against the #1 defender. Because a lot of last year, Matt Moore was still kind of like, who do we pull here with the #1 guy? It was Krause still. So this is his first year where he's not getting the #1.
Right.
He should be feasting on these guys.
And so far in this game, I feel like he hasn't initiated much of anything.
Here he is again. It's Laviano. That pass was wanting, tried to get it to Cormier.
You got to shoot that.
It ends up being a turnover.
And that was a good pass by Krause.
Right. Yeah, Krause did a nice job drawing it. Look, Laviano's a shooter. Everyone in the stadium thought he was thinking he's got to shoot it. Yeah. He's got his hands free.
Too much can spot too. He loves that spot.
Too much can go wrong with the extra pass.
On here. Getting offsides though against Princeton. Back to Virginia. Laviano will slow it up. Princeton led by a goal at the half. The margin is still 1.
And what we've seen throughout this game is when number 24 Cormier for Virginia is on the field, they are short-sticking Ian Laviano because they respect the freshman that much. I would love to see Laviano get more involved with the pick game in that scenario to get Matt Moore and Krause matched up against a short stick as Virginia turns it over again.
Krause just loses it, and McGelchie's there to pick it up for Princeton. Here come the Tigers. Brown. There's Matt Suey all over him. Back to Jake Stevens. I haven't mentioned Jake Stevens' name that much today from Princeton, number 14.
Every possession, the ball has to touch 22 stick. Has to. And what I like about Princeton, too, they move him around a lot, too. And you'll see sometimes he'll get in a scenario where he comes off picks. And
this is where they're setting the pick for him, and it makes Kaloji just his decision-making impossible.
Yeah.
Because if you drop under the pick, he's going to pick you apart as a feeder. But if you stay under, good luck.
Slide came to Connors now. Atkinson up top. Brown. Got the shorty on him.
I would get it to him right now with 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's Brown. Merle covering him. He's going to take it to the rack. He's got to go do something. 5 to shoot. Slusher saved by Rowe.
Good defense from Virginia. And another tough pass here in the middle of the field.
And another turnover. After Rowe makes his 11th save, it goes right back to Princeton.
They've been sloppy in the middle of the field.
Robertson scores!
They've been beyond sloppy. And it's led to a number of Princeton goals. Again, we talked about Princeton at halftime. They are doing a heck of a job on the little things and doing a better job in Virginia, and that's why they have a 2-goal lead. Here it is, the Merle with the turnover in the middle of the field. A tough pass from Connors, but just again, the eyes up. Virginia pushes in transition. They stick the ball in the back of the cage. 2-goal lead for the Tigers here in the third period.
And you better respect it, 'cause I am a legend,
Princeton unranked and unbeaten, trying to change all of that today, leading Virginia 10-8. Wahoo's the number 2 team in the country as we take a look at the Inside Lacrosse Media Poll. Penn State, Virginia, Yale. No change there. There'll be a change in number 4, though. Maryland losing to Villanova midweek.
The poll comes out on Monday, so obviously a lot of movement, but Army, a team at 9, gets thumped by Marist, but they go to the Dome tomorrow. I think that is going to be a huge game. You know, which Black Knight team do we see? Do we see the team that throttled?
And we look at here, you know, number 11 through 20. I mean, Princeton should be there, you know, based on, you know, who they have on the roster and some of their output so far this year. So
even an L today, though, from what you've seen in 2.5 quarters, at least to this point, they're a top 20 team.
And top 10. Yeah. They should be, you know, that 10 to 12 range in my opinion right now.
You know who's a sneaky team in the bottom half of the top 20? Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a team that's ready to take the next step.
Check them out Friday night. Q and I are going to have them at Duke, so an opportunity for them to get an impressive win on the road. They almost were able to beat Maryland at the start of the year. Almost a turnover, but Doc Sakin goes up to pick it up. Virginia is completely out of sorts, especially in the middle of the field right now.
I mean, they are not throwing the ball with confidence. Every pass seems a little off. And some times you have days like that. You credit Princeton for applying a lot of pressure in the middle of the field.
Krause. Hard hit on the field right now. Laviano had a shot, didn't take it. Connor's still on the field for Virginia, too, on the offensive end. Now Laviano spins back around. Couldn't get it to Regan Smith. Pardon me. Coming out of that timeout, nothing for Virginia.
And what are your thoughts? I mean, Virginia leaves Connors on the field there to play 6-on-6 with a long stick. I get the concept, but now he's on defense. He's been on the field for a long time.
Gassed.
Virginia has got too much depth and too much talent. Get your second and third middies on the
I'd rather
field.
have Peyton Cormier on there.
100%.
Especially when you know in the fourth quarter coming up, you're going to need Connors on every wing, too.
Right.
Slusher on Merle. Sowers. Back check by Virginia. McCarthy thought about taking a bomb. Brown forces that pass. Here comes Connors. He's on the move. Over to Laviano. Krause. Shot deflected over the top of the cage. Virginia will look to move quickly. Moore. Off of both Peters. Look like the top height.
And Connors is staying on the field again.
And he's gassed. I mean, he's huffing and puffing.
Krause, he got open. Peters went down to make the save.
Tell me, though, one or two reasons why, after 2 or 3 runs up and down, he would stay on the field there.
I think the idea is it creates more space.
5-on-5?
5-on-5, more space. You think your strength is dodging, so you make the sliding harder.
Brown, bounce shot, scores! And a flag.
And right now, Princeton, shot for shot, they're just taking better quality shots. I mean, we're going to see here Krause for Virginia gets his hands free. Peters going to match low, but that, I mean, low angle shot he has to keep attacking up the field.
Great reaction. Clean clearing for the Tigers. Chris Brown gets underneath, gets pushed. That's wiped out with the goal. I like this kid, Chris Brown. He's a big body. He can get shots off with pressure. But the whole thing with Connors, I get the 5-on-5. You want to play 5-on-5, it's better than 6-on-6. But he's also gassed. And then off of a shot and a save, you're not in any position if you've just run 3 times to go back in the hole, right?
And now he's not on the wing of the faceoff.
Exactly, where you want him.
Right.
3-goal advantage for Princeton, their largest lead of the game. Sally, the face-off winner, trying to get it to Dahl. Nice play by Dahl. Laviano to Moore. Peters. He has been sensational. Turnover, though. We'll get a call here from the officials. 12 12 saves from Peters.
Hey, don't shoot low on Peters.
Don't shoot with your feet. Don't shoot with your feet still.
I've heard that today.
You know, Moore catches that, plants his feet low to low. How close you are to the goalie sometimes is a disadvantage. You know, you got to create room to create angle. And right now, Virginia just continues to take low quality and low angle shots, and Peters is too good in the cage to do that.
Sowers now on Koloji.
I mean, how good has Princeton been, by the way, off that pick game today?
Because they move him around so much. It's not a typical pick like, you know, a lot of the Razor picks, you know exactly where they are on the field. Princeton, what impresses me with these guys is they move Sowers around so much, the picks can be in all different spots on the offensive set.
And he is the answer for how you defend it no matter what you do. If you jump it, he's got the vision to pick you apart. But if you try to play it normal and you get any rub or any contact there, he's too fast, he's going to score by his own shot. So I love what Princeton's doing on the offensive end.
Madelon and Princeton calling a timeout. Up 3 goals at the 4:01 mark here in the third quarter. Derek Peters has 12 saves in this game, and many of them have been spectacular. Alex Rode matching him. Rode's got 11. These two goalies have been great.
Rode saves. I mean, Rode has played amazing position. His saves are looking easy. Peters is robbing Virginia on a lot of these. Just been phenomenal.
You know how a lot of goalies are considered antsy? He's the opposite. He sits and then he reacts, and he has lightning quick hands. Eric Peters on the national save has been brilliant. Just gobbling up everything. Watch his top hand speed. Just boom. Hey, these are ridiculous saves here. High, low. We're talking about low, but I mean, right on the doorstep with Matt Moore there. That's phenomenal goaltending.
It's picture perfect everything. It's positioning. He's at the right place at the right time. But to your point, watching the great goalies, they're quiet until they're not.
Yes.
You know, you sit, you're patient, and then his top hand explosiveness is otherworldly, and it's fun to watch. It's not fun to shoot against. He is making these Virginia players think about where they're putting the ball. Kudos to what he's put on the field so far.
Hey, this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on the ACC Network, Florida State takes on NC State in men's basketball. NC State with a huge win earlier this week against Duke. Took them from the wrong side of the bubble to the right side of the bubble. A win today against Florida State would solidify their position inside the NCAA tournament field. If the season were to end today, so it's another opportunity for NC State. 4 o'clock this afternoon on the ACC Network. Princeton up 3. That's their largest lead. Sowers. Now behind the cage with Koloji checking him as he has all afternoon. Stutter step. Back to his right. Tough angle shot. It'll stay with Princeton.
Just relentless pressure by Sowers on Virginia's defense. He's just too good.
Looking to dodge from X. Dara couldn't get a shot off. Now he does. But Rode is there to make the stop. We'll get a flag. Another call against Virginia. That'll be a push against Virginia with possession.
Kyle Koloji, and that is not the guy you want getting the penalty, because he is the brains in regards to the defensive scheme and on the man down. Does so much. Blatantly hit him from the back.
Ian Laviano with words of encouragement to Koloji, so a 30-second man-up opportunity for Princeton without Virginia's best close defender. McCarthy, big shot!
Wow. He absolutely zapped that corner.
We had a great angle of it from up here in the booth. That was a howitzer.
And the part that we could see so clearly here was the release point was so well hidden too. I mean, he unloads on this. Look at the release. Look how much his shoulder turn hides his stick and just absolutely near side bombs it.
Crushes this.
Right here, this is the angle we have. Look at that torque. I mean, that is picture perfect form.
On a lefty goalie who actually, angle-wise, played it perfect. There was hardly any net to shoot at. And he finds that right under the crossbar, zaps it.
3 straight goals for Princeton. 4 goals, their largest advantage of the game late in the going here in the third quarter. Connors picks up the loose ball on the faceoff.
This Virginia team last year, I can't remember the exact number, but it was almost every game they were down 4 goals and they came back and won, starting in the middle of the season. So they know how to come back, but right now, Princeton's been the better team.
Cormier, he scores!
Watch the shoulder movement. Masterful, the Canadian with so much box lacrosse background, getting underneath the defensive pressure. This kid is going to be a spectacular lacrosse player, only a freshman. Gets underneath, and what he does so well too, as he hides his stick, he shields it with his left shoulder and then increases his angle with his feet. Peyton Cormier, I know during his redshirt year, you and I would go back and forth. I mean, this kid is going to be a big-time baller.
Gets one back for the Wahoos. Now LaSalle and Vara will get a violation against Vara, and it goes to Virginia. LaSalle putting it in play. Now he'll substitute off. Dox Aiken on for Virginia.
LaSalle seems to be taking over a little bit here at the face-off X.
It's been an even battle all game long, and Virginia's going to need him in the fourth quarter. Down 3. Aiken, he scores! And just like that, the deficit cut to 2 goals.
Like I was saying, Virginia's comfortable playing from behind.
They had scored, Matt, in 17 minutes of game action, and they scored twice in a minute.
And right here, this again is that 5-on-5 set. And you can see the space that it creates for Aiken. The slide's too far away, they can't get there and engage in time. And right here, this may be the solution to beating Peters. You have to bounce the ball to the top portion of the cage.
High bouncer.
And that's the only time Peters has seemed a little bit off, is when they've had that high bouncer. So can Virginia learn from that and continue to pepper the cage?
The high bouncer, though, is so old school. I mean, the only guys who are still doing that, guys in your men's league in Atlanta, Georgia, Cotter.
They are, with the wooden handles on their sticks. The thing about it is, though, that's really hard ground right there in front of the crease here at Clockter. And during the half, I saw Peters come out, take some bounce shots. Another opportunity for Virginia.
Just sloppy. They had it on the doorstep there. And Matt Moore with just the high pass.
Nice job by Jake Stevens to clear it for the Tigers.
He had Jack Peel wide open in the middle of the field. A converted offensive midi, now playing D midi for the Cavaliers. A blown opportunity.
Princeton settling in, plenty of time on the shot clock here. Game clock winding down. Minute 12 left in this third quarter.
You know, Princeton likes to play fast, but I'm taking some time off this shot clock based on the scenario right now, the third quarter winding down. Virginia starting to roll a little bit.
McCarthy scored from that spot earlier. Road goes down and make the save.
Just got a reset. That is just what the doctor ordered if you're Princeton. If you're Princeton now, really milk it, I think.
Oh, for 100% you take the last shot of the quarter here. Or you score right away, one of the two.
Well, Sowers
pushes it. But I think Princeton, what they need to do is, see, I like Sowers. I mean, look, this matchup is favorable for him, but I think their offense has been better when someone else has initiated kind of as a dummy dodge to get Virginia moving and get him the ball.
Up to McCarthy.
See, now Virginia's scrambling. Now that's a better opportunity. Make them work a little bit on the interior from a defense perspective.
Sowers now looking to attack, but loses the ball temporarily, gets it back. 10 seconds. Great spin move, and a score!
This kid's ridiculous.
That
It's
was
ridiculous.
That was picture perfect form on that roll.
Watch the spin.
Correct.
Watch the speed of the spin.
He accelerated during the spin.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like
It's like a wind-up doll.
off the 40-yard dodge. Somehow he's, if you're running a 40-yard sprint, look, he ends up going faster through the spin than when he's accelerating. It's crazy.
How do you defend that?
You win face-offs and don't give him the ball.
Kyle Kaloji's asking the same
Watch
thing.
the timing of the spin. Kaloji does a nice job. Sowers knows the shot clock, owns it. He times it also. It's so fast, as we mentioned, but when Kaloji starts to check, that's where the spin really takes off, because he times the check of it, and there's that lightning quick spin.
The feel for the game unmatched. Final 3 seconds of this third quarter. Teo Dahl fires the ball downfield. What Princeton withstood. A furious rally from Virginia late in that third quarter. They had a 4-goal lead. They get one back on a brilliant play by Michael Sowers.
The thing that stands out for me here, Virginia won all 9 face-offs in that third quarter. Were outscored 5-3. That doesn't usually happen, but it should give Virginia some confidence here that if they can continue that trend, a 3-goal lead isn't that massive in all reality.
The problem for Virginia is they're winning the face-offs, but they have so many turnovers that aren't typical of what they do in the middle of the field. It's kind of negating their dominance at the face-off X.
And those turnovers, those sloppy turnovers, have been on actually key moments. Matt Moore misses Peel cutting to make it a 1-goal lead. Princeton gets it, scores, it's 3-goal. I mean, this has been the story of a 2-goal run, or sorry, 2-goal flips from a turnover to Princeton scoring.
Jack Henry Farah and Petey LaSala going at it on that face-off to start the fourth quarter. Eventually, Princeton gains possession.
And if I'm Princeton, right, you're up 3. I spin the ball. I have a dummy dodge on the high wing. Get Sowers.
Yeah.
Let him conduct.
Give it to the wind-up doll.
Right now, Verdaro working on the short stick midi, the freshman, Danny Parker. Sowers changes his speed. Bounce shot off the pipe.
He's had 2 posts today, too.
Great hustle by Brown to keep possession to Princeton. Here's McCarthy. Beautiful pass and a beautiful save.
3 posts, I think.
Or is it the post?
I think it was a post.
That's not a spot Sowers typically gets, right, to finish.
Sure.
He's normally making that pass.
And he's usually finishing right-handed for the most part.
You're right, hit the post. Road's been so good. I believe that Road could have made that save. McCarthy now gets back to his right. Slusher. That's Verdaro. Got it inside to Robertson.
Princeton,
Top.
I mean, the complementary players look sharp. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the passing, the athleticism, the inside action.
And that dude, right?
I mean, they look outstanding.
You know, when you have a guy like McCarthy who can stretch the defense with that shot, you have a lefty finisher / dodger like Chris Brown, and then obviously Sowers and Robertson inside. Those are pieces.
Look at Sowers here. Got the shorty John Fox on him.
Virginia's in trouble.
Try the quick feed to Slusher up front.
Why give that up so early if you're him? I mean, this is the first time I think we had to
save.
Right, what a play
correct
there.
Michael Sowers. Don't give that up on the shorty that quick.
Robertson.
8 seconds in the shot clock.
Sowers is going to do it himself. Shot, save.
But I mean, can we? The part that I'm just thinking about, What a luxury to have a player Sowers. If there's 10 seconds in the shot clock, you're fine.
Yeah.
Most teams panic. They're like, give them the ball, something's going to happen. More often than not, it's going to be in the back of the net.
Most teams have to rely on a play, a certain pass, a pick.
Not with them.
Virginia now first offensive possession here in this fourth quarter. Aiken. Laviano did a nice job of picking up that loose ball. Still loose. Physical play. Laviano loses it. This is going to be a call against Princeton as soon as they gain possession, and they do.
Black 17, push, 30 seconds. Black 17, push.
Back, it'll be a 30-second penalty against the Tigers.
And this is Virginia's first man-up of the game. Only their third of the season. They're getting one man-up opportunity a game. For a team with the athletes that they have, to me, it just means they're not pressing. They're not turning the corner like they should, because that's typically when penalties are happening.
George Bond guilty of the infraction. He'll sit for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, a typical Virginia team. How many would you get in a game?
5,
6?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man up for the Cavaliers. Cormier now behind the cage. Here's Moore. Kraus.
Too slow with the ball on their stick.
Moore inside. Laviano.
Tough shot. Catching it there, back towards the cage.
Moore will fire. He scores!
Virginia with the man up. A nice job attacking passing the ball down to the wing. It doesn't take much of the man up. It just takes the defense to have to figure out who is being passed off. Right there, they come off Matt Moore. He steps in. Right, you can see Cormier there draws the Princeton defenseman. Matt Moore shows, sticks in the top corner.
You know what I liked about that? It was the slow cut of Cormier. I think if it was a quick, fast cut, defense just kind of passes him off. He was kind of in that middle ground where they didn't know to pass him along or stay with him there.
You have to find who the string person is. So who's the person playing two? And if you can take advantage of that with the ball in your stick, very tough to defend on the defensive side from a man-down perspective.
LaSalle and Cormier continue their battle. Andrew Song picked up that ground ball, and here comes Princeton. Again, if you're just tuning in, back and forth battle. It's been close all game long. Michael Sowers living up to the billing. He's taken over. Now McCarthy. Another pipe. Physical play in the midfield. Moore, great job picking up the loose ball. He's got a full head of steam. He'll take it himself, and Peters is there.
Peters is lights out. I mean, that's high to high. Matt Moore coming in at 100 miles an hour. Incredible. "12 saves, but I mean, he is stolen.
That's sloppy for Princeton, right?
But they're going to get the ball
pass.
back. Reckless pass.
They did initially, but now it's going to go back to Virginia as they try and clear it.
As much as Virginia's made mistakes in the middle of the field, if you're Princeton, you can't make those against this team because a 2-goal lead is nothing.
Right.
Aiken. Laviano. Watch out. Folks over there on Ward Knob. Is that what we're calling that?
You're really going for it. I like it.
Like I said, name me a Heisman Trophy winner out there who doesn't have a street named after him or a statue. You won the lacrosse equivalent of a Heisman Trophy here at Virginia. They got to name something after you. We'll name that hill after you.
I'm all on board.
Cormier just battling through the defense of the Princeton Tigers, but can't get anything going. Now sandwich was Mingalci.
That's the right call. He was pushed.
I don't know if it was a push. I think it was a cross-check to the head. A loose ball push. It's definitely Princeton's ball. Cormier has to learn in that instance that he turns the ball over too much for the limited touches he's getting. That's his third turnover of the game. He's got to be a little smarter. And again, he's learning. He's a freshman.
There it is again, though.
That furious ride by Virginia. Laviano, he scores.
It's going to cost you.
I mean, how uncomfortable was Laviano trying to finish that one?
Well,
Peters is just...
Here's the deal. Princeton has to play clean in the middle of the field. Against Virginia, this is where they're at their best. Riding, pressuring defenses that are trying to get in the offensive zone. And if you clear the ball like Princeton has the last few times, you're going to lose this game. There's no question. You're going to lose this game if you clear the ball like this.
That's their 7th failed clear, right? That's too many. But I mean, I'm just like, I know Laviano scored there, but Peters, like if you watch, he's falling down. He is still matching stick for stick.
4-goal Princeton lead just moments ago was their largest of the game, now whittled down to 1.
Petey LaSala, I think, getting a little tired here. Princeton won 3 clamps in a row after he had won 9 straight.
You won the face-off, right? But you lost the possession.
Well, and by the way, that was a clear ground ball that they should have picked up.
Yes,
they had 2 people
You
right.
won the face-off, you lost the possession.
Yeah, turnover.
That's what had been happening to Virginia for a good bit of this second and third quarter leading into this fourth. Now Virginia is getting that loose ball. And that's why that lead is down to 1 goal.
Now the Virginia fans are feeling it. You hear the stands.
Laviano, tough angle.
Can they clear the ball? Can they clear the ball?
This is still not a clear yet. Not until you get it in the box. There you go, nice job. Very patient clear there. You always have a little more time than you think.
Tigers now slowing it down a bit, trying to slow this momentum that Virginia now has regained here in the fourth quarter. McCarthy, he'll fire, doesn't get to the cage.
No, good play.
Nice job by Bauer.
Good awareness.
Yeah, freshman.
Now Cormier will put it in play for Virginia on the offensive end.
Big man is gassed. He was playing defense there, straight to the box.
Jeff Connor on, along with Dox Aiken.
I think Garneau here, coming out of the box, could be a nice opportunity for Virginia, the freshman.
Yeah, they're double polling Connor
Yep.
and Aiken, meaning Laviano has a short stick.
And I'm surprised that doesn't happen more to Ian. He's not going to be the person that dodges to score. He's very good off ball, but I think the short stick is a smart play.
Now Aiken. Back to his left. Boy, he got it back and took that over-the-shoulder shot. Finlay wins the race to the ball out of bounds, and Princeton takes over.
But I think Laviano can be very effective with a shorty on him in different ways. I would not still dodge with him.
Ooh, big hit. You saw that coming. McCarthy absorbs it.
It's a big boy. 2 big boys.
Spins to freedom.
What a play. Should be over and back.
Verdaro couldn't corral it. Here comes Virginia. Furious play. Nice pass. Merle can't score. Peters was there to deny him. Furious action here in the fourth quarter. Slusher comes out of the box to pick up that pass.
Peters has been the MVP. I mean, I know Rode has, you know, about the same amount of saves, but Peters, I mean, he's doing it 1-0 time and time again.
I'm watching this game, and you mentioned a clear should be easy. I'm watching this game right now thinking, can they clear the ball for both teams, right? It's like you're on your heels right now.
Sowers. Inside, scores! Robertson with the quick hands.
When Sowers gets in the traditional 6-on-6 set and he's in his comfort zone behind, when he looks inside, he's looking for Robertson. Robertson has 60-plus career goals. Half of them are when 22 passes to him. So that combination, 22 to 11, for the last few years has been absolutely on fire for the Princeton Tigers. But to have these offensive opportunities and to come to Charlottesville and beat the defending national champion Virginia Cavaliers, your goalie has to stand on his head, and Eric Peters has been amazing. Princeton's up.
Princeton back up by 2 goals here in the fourth quarter. What a game we have for you. If you're just tuning in, do not tune out. We have gone back and forth. The rifle from Moore. Then he finds Laviano on the break. An unbelievable pass from Sowers to Robertson.
And that was the definition of passing someone open. I mean, there was no reason for Robertson to be able to get that shot off. Sowers hadn't drawn a slide. Virginia was basically face guarding, but he knew exactly where to put it there on the money, and the quick release. Big time goal.
When you play together for 4 years and your buddies off the field, there's that different type of chemistry between a feeder and a crease guy.
B. LaSalle with the violation on the face-off. You guys were talking about it during the break. Players that are just gassed in this game. Has to be for both teams. It has been fast and furious all afternoon long for the last 2 hours.
Why do you think Virginia's more gassed?
Just watching their body language coming off the field, they seem to be, I don't know if it's they're down on the way that they're playing or tired, but a combination of the two. But Princeton just seems ready to go, and a little bit more energy coming from the sideline.
Sowers on Koloji. Beats him. Shot too high.
You just know, though, that for this program in the last 10 years, this is the biggest game. You have the superstar, a guy that you can go on a run with Michael Sowers, but you need that signature win. You come here on the road against the defending national champs. I mean, this changes your season.
Momentum's a funny thing, and all it takes is one play to make the difference in your season.
Yeah, Koloji forced Sowers behind the cage. 10 to shoot. Slusher will get a flag against Virginia. Slusher scores! The freshman from Portland, Oregon, puts Princeton back up 3.
We talked about what a luxury it is to have an advantage with 10 seconds left on the shot clock as an offensive team. Michael Sowers is that person. And right here, look at Slusher. He does a nice job. The backhanded shot. What we're not seeing here on the bottom side of the screen is Sowers gets laid out. There's going to be flag down. Princeton's man up. A 3-goal lead facing off man up. Big mistake for the Cavaliers.
That's a big-time goal for the freshman out of Oregon. When you watch him operate, he's on the first midfield, but all of his moves are attack moves. He's been an attackman his entire career. They like him in those spots because he could take a short stick defensive midfielder and dodge against him like he's an attackman.
Connors wins a big ground ball. Physically takes it down and gets it to Moore.
Now, this is a minute penalty. This is a tough spot for Virginia because down three, you don't go here.
Merle's in the box for another 30 seconds.
Find yourself with down 3 with less than 3 to go.
Looks like they're going to kill it and then wholesale substitutions once that penalty is killed. 15 seconds left to go. 30 to shoot. Cormier comes on now. Cavaliers at full strength. Down by 3. Krause. Ball knocked away. Still loose behind the cage. Scrum for it, and Peters is out there. He'll go out of bounds to Virginia. They'll reset the shot clock. Doc's Aiken. Too high. 2:19 left to go. Princeton up 3. Start of a stretch for Princeton. They've got Hopkins next. Rutgers, Penn, at Yale. Aiken. Couldn't get it on target. Brutal stretch for Princeton, but a huge game here if they can get that stretch off on the right foot on the road with a win here at Clockner.
It's a brutal stretch, but it could be a great stretch for them.
Aiken tries to muscle his way. We'll get a flag. This one will go against the Tigers.
Lucky break for the Cavaliers here, I think.
This puts everyone, I think, nationally on red alert, too, because you have the superstar, Michael Sauer, 25 points in the first 2 games. You see Aiken draws that hold, 30 seconds. But it validates, right? It validates the offense that scored 20 in 2 consecutive games that comes down here against a team in Virginia who's been playing pretty good defense, and you score 15. This puts the nation on red alert.
Got to close it out. Laviano tried the quick shot. Minute and a half for Princeton to kill off. Robertson. Road now is going to have to come out and challenge. Here's Brown. He'll look to kill clock.
Princeton's been the more athletic team all day. Ground balls, the little things, a little more effort and energy. They can taste it. I mean, this is, again, potentially the start of something great for them. You look last year in the Ivy Leagues, Penn came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? Like this Princeton team, they got it. They have the players, and if Peters can play like this in cage and they can make the momentum changing plays in the game, who knows what they can do.
Robertson behind the cage, still 30 seconds to shoot. How far do they move up in the rankings next week, you think, with just this win?
I think they go from unranked to probably like 19th. No, I'm just kidding. I think they're top 10. Because you got to look at it, right? If you take away all of the hype and the preseason stuff, who's got a win like this?
Best win.
Yeah, it's the best win.
Dominated the game.
3-0 and you beat defending national champs on the road. I mean, am I crazy to think they should be 6 or 7 or 8?
Trailed for only 2 minutes in this game, and that'll be the capper.
But they should be.
Slusher.
And again, to me, like, yeah, the score was close, but I feel like Princeton's been 4 goals better. I mean, I feel like it was that type of game where they seemed to be the better team. Both goalies played well. I don't want to say one gives an advantage, but I think Peters was a bigger difference maker. I think Rode played very well for Virginia. And then in the middle of the field, they were just better.
Yeah. You know, we talk about it as Slusher just takes it on the chin and continues to find Pater. 2 in a row for the freshman from Oregon. Feeling it, young man. It's really hard to go from unranked to like 6th.
They're not going to.
No, they're not going to.
But they should be.
They should. Yeah.
Right. It's just not going to happen. But
I could see, though, realistically.
So let's say if there was no ranking before the season started, everyone was unranked.
Yeah.
And they came out with the first poll in week 3.
Oh, they'd be
6. So I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like what's the difference?
I could see.
They can make a big jump.
They can make a big jump.
I mean, Army made a big jump before their loss. Like, teams can make a big jump.
They can make a jump to 8. Huge win This is the biggest win in Princeton lacrosse in 10 years. And it's the biggest win unequivocally in Matt Modelan's career. So congratulations to him and the rest of this staff and this team. Because as much as we saw a superstar